Hi there folks, and welcome to RRTV's live broadcast of tonight's Skip Barber Australian Strength of Field race, and we are back at Sebring International Raceway. And for those of you who caught our broadcast Sunday, we're also at this track. So I'd like to welcome Richard Craig to the commentary booth. Welcome Richard, back at Sebring again tonight, mate.
Yeah, good evening Bernie. Yes we are. It's a little bit sunnier than it was yesterday. We raced under probably overcast conditions, but today the track's hot and warm, and the guys are out now doing qualifying. Should be a great race tonight.
Yeah, it definitely should be. I'm just having a look at the weather now. The weather's partly cloudy, 11 kilometre per hour wind speed with a track temp, a hot 36 degrees out there today. So it'll be interesting to see how the guys handle that after the cooler weather we had here yesterday.
Yeah, the track is a serious couple of seconds slower, Bernie. It's quite hard getting the power down out of some of the slower corners. The hairpin in particular, turn 7, and it's a little bit more challenging around the big looping fast corners, the Sunset, where you finish the lap, the big 180 degree, and turn 1 in particular, also quite challenging.
Yeah, I noticed a bit earlier on a few guys losing it coming into turn 1 there. And we just had C. Suti set the fastest lap of a 2:26.14.
Yeah, Colin's very, very quick. Drives out of Western Australia. I think you can expect his time to come down. I've seen Colin in the 25s. And I think Marcelo could be in for a good time too. We'll check him out.
Yeah, so we'll definitely keep an eye out on Marcelo. He's just set the second fastest time, as you said that, Richard, with a 2:26.478. So I guess they're 5 minutes ago. They're probably winding up qualifying at this stage.
Well, most of us have managed to get 3 fully timed laps for qualifying. So you get an out lap and then 3 timed laps. So I think we'll see a bit more action. The other one to look out for, Bernie, is Kevin Willman. He's had a real turn of speed this last week, and he's probably a little bit disappointed with his race yesterday. So I'd say look to Kevin Willman to get himself up there in the front 3 as well.
Yeah, definitely. Kevin looked very strong yesterday, and he was up the back of your battle pack, I think, there, having a good race with you guys just about for that whole race. Yeah,
I looked at the replay. I think Kevin copped a slowdown, which just put him out of contention a bit. He was fighting his way back, but he ran out of laps basically, and I expect to see him try and make up for that today.
Yeah, definitely. And I noticed we've got Mick Gray out there again at the moment. He's sitting back on 7th position tonight, and Ben Conroy's also back from yesterday's race.
Yeah, Mick is definitely someone to look out for. He's very dangerous. He's an extremely careful driver, and he's always there. He's mopping up. He won't put in a blistering qualifying time, but he will definitely be there in the race, Benny.
Yeah, that's right. We saw him yesterday. He was starting to come up through the field, and I'm not sure if he had any bad luck or not. I can't remember yesterday, quite honestly.
Yeah, he did have some bad luck. He short fueled and he ran out of gas, and just in the last couple of laps it was really quite disappointing because he was sitting there in 4th.
Yeah, and just for the viewers who caught our broadcast yesterday, the driver of the day, or the drive of the day, was awarded to Trent Thomas. He came up from I think it was 21st up to 8th, and he actually made a good move on the last corner of yesterday's race to take a position. So congratulations to Trent on drive of the day.
Yeah, that was a great drive from Trent, and he's reasonably new to the car, isn't he, Bernie? He's a Star Mazda pilot, and he's come along to check the series out and show some support. Really, really good to see.
Yeah, it certainly is, and it was great to hear his comments on the differences between the Star Mazda and the Skippy, and he actually said he felt the Skip Barber was a bit more of a handful than the Star Mazda is.
Yeah, I've got to say I was surprised to hear that when he said Star Mazda was a bit easier to drive. I guess once you get really used to the downforce, that's probably true. Every time I drive the Star Mazda, I'm struggling to find enough pace in the corners because the car's just glued to the road and I'm not used to it.
Yeah, well, I think that's what it is, because the Skip Barbers don't have a lot of downforce. They're more a driver development car, so I think I find them a bit more of a challenge to corner than the Star Mazda, but the Star Mazda's a heck of a lot faster, of course.
Yeah, it is. Look, I'm just watching Colin Sooty completing his lap. He's just come out of Le Mans, heading down the Ullman Straight now. So this will complete Colin's third lap. I don't know if you can pick him up, Bernie, but let's just see how Colin handles this. Just watching how he goes through Sunset should be pretty interesting.
Yeah, we've got the cameras on Colin now as he's coming into Sunset.
Yeah, Colin taking quite a nice tight line so he can get on the gas reasonably early there. See what his time is. No, he doesn't manage to improve at 2:25.690.
Yeah, well, that's actually quite a good improvement. He just set a fastest lap, so that's a new fast lap. He's the only guy now in the 225s. Marcelo's second at the moment in 2:26.162.
Oh, sorry, you're right. Yes, it was a 2:26.1 that Colin was on before, wasn't it? So, yeah. Sorry, my mistake. Yeah, so he's done well there.
Yeah, and it's pretty amazing. On that lap, Marcelo and Kevin Willman actually set the identical time of a 2:26.162 on their previous lap. So I don't think I've ever seen two drivers ever get the identical time for their fastest lap during qualifying.
No, I'd say that's pretty rare. Be interesting to see how iRacing deals with that on the grid.
Yeah, that's right. I wonder if it's going to go based on... Okay, let's have a look at the grid and we'll see how they've done it.
Has it done it on iRacing?
Yeah, it definitely looks like it. So, folks, I'll take you through the grid while the guys are gridding up. So, from pole tonight, Colin Sooty with a 2:25.691, Marcelo Rivera in second, Kevin Willman third, both identical times there, Lance Perkins fourth, fifth will be Anthony Mansorella. Sixth, Kevin Henderson, Page in seventh, Ridley eighth, Mick Gray ninth, I don't know how to say that one, Uoti in 10th. 11th, Ben Conroy, Kurt Marr out of 12th, James Cook 13th, Lawrence 14th, Hartley will be starting out of 15th. 16th will be Deschen, Malesi 17th, and Arkanjelski. You try to pronounce that one, Richard. See if you can get it. So we're just waiting for them to grid up, folks, and they are under starters orders now. Revs are rising,
Green flag.
and we've got a green flag, and they're off. So let's hope they can get through. We've got someone stopped up the back there on the grid, but fortunately everyone got around them, and as Colin takes the field into the first corner. Looks like Marcelo's given Colin a bit of a run there coming into that first corner, and we've had a big incident coming through there. I'm not sure who's involved there, but we do have a car on its roof there, Richard.
Yes, I've missed that. I'm looking at Kevin in behind Colin here and Marcelo, so they've got away quite cleanly. I'll nip back if you like and have a look and see who's involved in that accident.
Yeah, and we'll see if we can get a replay of that soon, folks. But at the moment, out front, we have Marcelo Rivera, followed closely by Colin, and Kevin Willman's had a great start there in third. Fourth is Lance Perkins. Mick Gray's had a bit of an off by the looks of it and dropped down through that field at this stage of the race.
Yes, and it's Igor that's ended up on the roof. So, and I think Mick's saying he had nowhere to go. So obviously the guy's got into a bit of a mess there.
Yeah, so we'll jump back, folks, and see if we can see exactly what occurred at the start there. Just bear with me for one moment while I get our cameras working.
The front five at the moment, we've got Marcelo, Colin Sudi, Kevin Willman, Anthony Mansorella, followed by Lance Perkins, and they're all in a pretty tight group at the moment, Bernie, with Kevin Henderson taking up the rear behind Lance, then Ben Conroy and Daryl Ridley.
Yeah, that's right. At the moment, they're pretty much inseparable here on the standings as far as gaps are concerned. There's only 0.003 of a second between Marcelo and Colin, as Colin has a look on the inside.
Yeah, a bit of a gap there at the moment between Lance and Anthony, but I think that'll straighten up as they head down the straight here.
Yeah, definitely, and we're riding on board now with Kevin Willman, and we can just see the two up front snaking down that straight, trying to break that slipstream. Yeah, Kevin's got a pretty good start out of this tonight, Richard.
Yeah, he has, Bernie, and I think Kevin's going to play the waiting game. He's not going to attack Colin because he won't want to slow them down. I think he'll just try and hold station for a while and see how this develops.
Yeah, that's right, and he's right behind him. He's got Anthony Mansorella and Anthony's teammate Lance Perkins there in 5th at this stage.
Yeah, Lance has dropped back a little bit, but with the draft here, as long as you can stay within about the 1.2, 1.4 seconds, you can pull up a significant amount of time on the straights and these fast sections, like they're coming up through the back here. The draft is still active up through here as they come up the back towards Cunningham. Very exciting, hard braking right-hand turn here, right angle.
Yeah, it's quite a tricky part of the track here when with that surface change.
Yes, it is. And on the inside of Cunningham, there's a curb that you really have to take quite gently. If you cop too much of it, you will not get the power down to come out. And Tower, another very tricky section. It's quite grippy. It's faster than it looks, but it's very easy to overcook it. Again, take too much curb or end out on the dirt.
Yeah, and we're in the cockpit view at the moment with Kevin Willman, folks, and this view will stay with it for a bit. It'll really show you how hard the drivers work, as well as how bumpy this circuit is. Yeah,
Kevin lost just a little bit of time coming around Le Mans there. Anthony's got a little bit of a run on him, I can see. I'm looking from Kevin's rear view mirror at the moment.
Yeah, Anthony's really close behind Kevin now, but he just... Oh, is he going to try going up the inside?
Yeah, Kevin's run a bit wide. Heard him getting the power down here.
So they're running side by side, folks, down the main straight. We'll just go to the external view so you can see this action.
Yeah, so that's lost him a bit of time on Colin, but if Anthony holds station and doesn't push too hard, they'll be able to close that gap back up.
Yeah, that's right, and that's really the key, isn't it? If these two start fighting, it's going to release Marcelo and Colin.
That's right, and the other thing is, of course, it's giving Lance a chance to get on their tail as well, so that definitely is going to end up with three of them. The trick is, can they get on the back of Colin again? And Anthony showing a bit of interest backing out of it. So maybe. The thing is that when you do that, you have to be a little bit defensive when you're the guy in front. You hesitate and you do lose a little bit of time. and 100th there, 100th there, and it's a tenth or two by the end of the lap.
Yeah, and fortunately for Anthony, he's got his teammate Lance Perkins behind him, so he, I guess he'd feel a bit safer jumping around than he would if he had another driver there.
That's true. I think Lance has probably got a bit of a point to make. I think he'd be a bit disappointed with his race yesterday. He was right there in the top group, and I didn't see what happened to him. He must have spun out. Over the first 10 laps or so, Lance was right in amongst it, so he'll be wanting to get there right to the end tonight.
Yeah, I'd say if Anthony and Lance can get through, they'd be pretty hungry to try to make this a 1-2-3 for Evolution Racing Australia and Maverick Welding tonight.
Yeah, definitely, Bernie. And look, I'm getting the feeling this Marcelo and Colin are just running away, and Kevin doesn't look like he's going to be able to stay with them at the moment.
Yeah, Kevin's now 1.1 seconds down from Marcelo, and Colin's about 4 thousandths of a second down at the moment.
Yeah, well, if Kevin wasn't looking in his mirrors, I think he's quick enough to close that gap. But if he has to watch his mirrors, definitely those front two are going to run away.
Yeah, that's right. And Colin Sudi just set the fastest lap of the race, 2:25.639.
Yeah, that's not a bad time for lap 4. Well, lap 3 really. We're into lap 4 now.
Yeah, and it looks like to me Lance has a lot. Well, as he messes up that corner, he's got a lot more pace, I think, than Kevin and Anthony here, so he's probably going to be keen to try to get through if he can.
Well, part of that is the illusion of the draft. Lance is sort of playing it quite smart here. When you stay about half a second back, you get the benefit of the draft without getting tangled up going into the corners, so you can really pick up a good half to 3/4 of a second off your normal lap time if you just keep that buffer zone about right. There's definitely a sweet spot, and I think Lance is making the most of that at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. As we can see now, Anthony coming down the inside of Kevin here. We'll see if he can make this move. Oh, it's going to be close, but can Kevin get back on the switchback? I tell you what, Kevin's making Anthony work for this.
Yeah, he is. He has an opportunity to stay on the inside line here going into tower, and he does manage to make the move stick in the end. Great sequence there from Anthony. Yeah,
it was a good driving by both of those guys, showing respect, as now Kevin's coming back on the outside, hoping to hold it out there so he gets the inside, and he's taking him back again.
Yeah, Kevin has a good turn of speed through this back section of the track, so now he has to make sure he nails Le Mans here.
Yeah, definitely, and I noticed how Kevin's placing that car. He's doing a really good job at defending. As we can see now, Anthony Mansorella coming back on the inside of Kevin here, and we'll see who comes out in front at sunset.
Yeah, Kevin gives him a bit of room, hesitates. Anthony should pull this off.
Yeah.
The danger is Luke going to get up the inside as well.
Yeah, it looks like Lance is going to try to make it. So we can see them coming down to finish yet another lap. 6 laps to go, folks, and Anthony Mansorella is just in front of Kevin, but Kevin's got a lot of pace on the outside there.
Yeah, Anthony pinched himself a little on the inside of the corner, tightened it up. Just can't carry the speed and get back on the power easily there. There is a sweet line there that allows you to get back onto gentle power and then really floor it, and Anthony missed that opportunity, so that played into Kevin's hands then.
Yeah, definitely, and we can just see now the slipstream of Anthony kicking in here, but Kevin's going to he's going to let him go down the inside. That's an interesting move. We'll see if Kevin tries a switchback. No, he doesn't have the power there, but because he's got Lance right on the inside of his rear wheel there.
It's a real drag race here. Can Lance make it stick and come up the outside into Cunningham? He's going to have a go.
Certainly is, as they go side by side into that corner. But Kevin's back on the inside again. This is great racing, Richard.
Yeah, it is. Lance made sure he gave Kevin plenty of room, and it probably undid him, but he didn't have a lot of choice because Kevin had maintained corner speed through there. So that was really good situational awareness from both of those guys, because it's very difficult to actually really see the guy next to you when you're in that situation.
Yeah, and the other thing to bear in mind, folks, is while this battle's going on, this has allowed Darryl Ridley to close in on the back of them, so this battle pack's going to be four before too long.
Yes, and because they're fighting, they've slowed themselves down probably a good second a lap or more, which does deal Darryl Ridley right back into it. He can run this pace for sure.
That's right, and further back, there's a great battle between Ika Uoti and Kurt Ma. They're battling for 8th and 9th at the moment. And as Kurt's having a look on the inside here going into Sunset, he makes the move, but he's gone in pretty hot here. But it looks like Kurt has taken that position and up to 8th position now.
Yeah, nice driving from LK. Just made sure that Kurt had enough room.
Yeah, it's great to see Kurt having a better run tonight. Yesterday he suffered a bit of rear wing damage in that race. As he's been spun around there by Uodi. I spoke too soon, unfortunately.
Yes, and Kurt not too happy about that one, Bernie.
Yeah, I'd say that's the commentator's curse there. We were just talking him up when that happened, but we'll have a look at the replay here. It just looks like Uodi has come in not way too strong. He's carrying a lot of speed, and he's just tagged the inner left-hand wheel there of Kurt and spun the book-sorted Skip Barber around.
Yes, that's a slightly weird move. He looked like he had it all under control, and then he clearly had a lot more mid-corner speed and didn't anticipate Kurt's speed at all, did he?
Yeah, that's right. He was floating it in, trying to get to the outside, and it looked like he just his nose just tagged the right wheel of Kurt, which is unfortunate. That's put Kurt down to 11th position now in this race with 5 laps to go.
Yeah, his car's looking a bit banged up, but it seems that his wheels are straight. That's the main thing that happens. Some of those incidents, you can't see it on the camera, but it can just knock your alignment out on your wheels and make the car a real handful. So at the moment he kind of looks okay, but he would certainly have lost a bit of aero from that.
Yeah, and that's the exact sort of damage he had yesterday as well. As we jumped back up the front here, we've got Kevin Willman under pressure from Anthony Mansarella, but Darryl Ridley's also making a move now on Lance Perkins as they come into the final corner here.
Yeah, slow last lap from those guys, a 28.0. I think Kevin will be really wanting to put the hammer down at this stage and see if he can do something about this, particularly since they've dropped the other two off. Yeah,
well, he definitely will want to try to get that gap down. They're up to 6.4 second gap now, up to Marcelo, who's still leading from Colin Sudi in second.
Yeah, and just 0.02 of a second separating those two guys on the last lap. But Marcelo's picked up a bit of front wing damage. That will definitely have an effect on his speed down the long straights, Benny.
Yeah, that's right, and we can see the effect of speed also as Darryl and Lance are battling for this 5th position. You can just see how the other two are starting to really pull that gap out now.
Yes, I don't know whether you caught that. Colin just had a red-hot go at the hairpin, and Marcelo was having none of that. Drove around the outside of him and maintained his position. Yeah,
Marcelo would be pretty hungry for this win, I'd say, and and it's great to see him in the Skip Barber here. We've seen him in other cars, and he's doing a great job out there tonight.
Yeah, he certainly is. But a good turn of speed, and he's got someone quite experienced. Colin is another one of these quite wily competitors. Colin will try and win the race on the last corner. He doesn't have to lead it. He'll think his way through it, and I think that's definitely what's going on here. Try and pressure Marcelo into a mistake. You get it a little bit ragged coming around the back into Le Mans.
Yeah, he certainly did get that ragged. He was lucky to hang on to that. I think cones were flying everywhere there.
Yeah, it can be a bit nasty when you get off the curb, but it leads in quite gradually on the track side, but the other side it just drops away, and it's quite significant. It'd be 2 or 3 inches, and really can upset the car. And he had a bit of a tank slapper moment there.
He certainly did, and we're on board now with Colin, and it looks like Marcelo's got some slight rear wing damage, but nothing too major at this stage.
His front left wing is bent up. That's what's going to be slowing him, and I think that definitely looked like he wasn't very happy coming around there. Whether he carried a bit more speed and out of turn 1, I'm not sure. This section of the track they're going in now, this 3, 4, 5 complex, quite tricky, and this is a critical turn to get right, this turn 5. It leads onto a fast section down to the hairpin, which is one of the best overtaking opportunities on the track.
Yeah, and it's really amazing to watch these guys drive these. I can assure you folks, these guys are really on the ragged edge here and getting every ounce of speed out of these cars that they possibly can.
Yes, and they're playing a game of chess with each other as well, thinking their way through it. Colin doesn't want to get too close, but he doesn't want to lose touch, that's for sure, but he needs to give himself enough room to pull off his move when he's going to make it, and also to keep the pressure up on Marcelo. He doesn't want Marcelo to have a moment feeling like, I'm okay, I'm free.
Yeah, that's right. He's got to keep Marcelo under constant pressure here and keep him guessing when this move's going to be made. I guess, if it comes down to the last lap and they're like this, where would you rather be, Richard? Would you rather be in Marcelo's shoes or in Colin's shoes?
Well, traditionally you'd say on this track that Colin's in the box seat, that you don't want to be leading on the final lap. However, if you depending on how you get a run out of here, if you can hold the defensive line on the inside through Sunset, the final corner, making the guy go around the outside, it's pretty challenging, but it's definitely doable. And it's all down to whether you get the over and under coming out of Sunset onto the straight.
As Colin has another look on the inside there, and somehow I get the feeling he's just sitting back there at the moment, just making Marcelo sweat a little bit.
Yeah, definitely, Bernie. He did a little lift there. He could have pressed the point, but he decided to back out of it.
And further back, folks, the battle between Anthony Mansorella and Kevin Willman is still continuing, with Anthony currently in 3rd, followed by Kevin. Further back in 5th, Darryl Ridley and Lance Perkins are still continuing their great battle as Lance gets an undercut there, and they go yet again side by side into the S's here.
It's going to be a bit tricky to keep track of this on the last lap, Bertie. We've got 3 lots of 2 guys, and they all want to change order on the last lap.
Yeah, that's right. We're back on the leaders now, and I'll try to cover this, folks, and we'll jump back between the 3 battle packs and try to keep you updated with what's going on. But at the moment, the top 5 are Marcelo Rivera leading, with Colin Suti close behind, Kevin Willman 3rd, Anthony Mansorella's in 3rd, Kevin Willman 4th, and Lance Perkins is currently in 5th position.
And Colin's definitely keeping the pressure up. Marcelo just got a bit ragged coming out of Cunningham, got the back stepping out. And again, a bit ragged going through Tower, bit of dirt, bit of inside curb.
Yeah, and it looks like now Kevin's starting to put the blowtorch back on Anthony further back there, and so it's great to see the top six having these close battles. And further down for 8th and 9th, Rob Hartley and Jeffrey Cook are also in a great battle here, and they're some 29 seconds down, so we've really got 4 battle packs going on here, Richard.
Yeah, I don't know where to look at the moment. I've just seen Daryl Ridley. He's got a good run here on Lance Perkins. So I think Daryl's going to be making a go by the end of the Almond Straight.
Yeah, definitely, but he's being forced to go around the outside there by the looks of it, and as they come in, he's going to lose it, I think.
Yeah, and Kevin's got a great run here on Anthony coming out of Sunset onto the front straight. So they're side by side down the straight towards turn 1, with Anthony just a whisker in front at the moment.
Yeah, so Daryl Ridley has looped the car, folks, just coming into the last lap. That's going to release Lance Perkins there and make our job a little bit easier, but we'll stay with the leaders here as Colin now tries to make a move for the win of this race.
Marcelo's definitely going quite defensive here. Is he going to pull back? Colin might open it up. I suspect Colin's going to wait at this stage, Bernie. He probably won't do anything until they're on the Almond Straight, I suspect.
Yeah, it looks like he's, about a car length behind at this stage. We're just on the gyro as he's now getting that slipstream.
Yeah, he's working himself up. He really pulled up on Cunningham, but quite smoothly, back on the power nicely. See how he runs into Tower. If he gets a good run here, he might have a go up the straight. He's not going to be close enough here. So for Colin, it's all going to come down to Allman and Sunset.
So the time's running out here, folks. Last lap here as Colin closes in on the back of Marcelo. He's really only got one more passing opportunity here, and that's coming up here at the end of this straight into Sunset.
He probably didn't get the exit that he wanted there.
Marcelo's gone quite defensive there as he weaves back across the track there and trying to break that slipstream as Colin now looks on the inside. He just doesn't quite get there, so he's
going to try and tighten it. Whoa, I thought they were going to touch then, Bertie.
Oh, that was so close, but it looks like Marcelo Rivera hangs on just to take the win over Colin Sudi there. Further back now, Kevin Willman's on his way home, but Anthony Mansarella's now side by side again, and it looks like Kevin just made that Lance Perkins home safe after followed then by Ben Conroy and Ika Uoti.
Yeah, that was pretty exciting, Bernie. Half a car length for the first two, and I'd say maybe a quarter to a third of a car length for the next two.
Yeah, that's right, and it looks like Rob Hartley has managed to bring his car home. We'll go through the grid there, but he won that fourth battle. So having a look at our results, folks, we had a fantastic race tonight with Marcelo Rivera winning with just 0.03 of a second over Colin Sudi in second. Kevin Willman 1,000th of a second took third from Anthony Mansarella. Lance Perkins home safe in fifth. Ben Conroy sixth. Uoti seventh. Darryl Ridley home in 8th. We saw him spin coming into that last lap while battling with Lance Perkins. Rob Hartley 9th, James Cook in 10th. 11th, Kurt Marr. 12th, Kevin Henderson. 13th, Hancock's. 14th, Deschen. 15th, Malessi. Mick Gray home in 16th. I'm not sure what happened to him, but he did drop back significantly on that first lap. 17th, Lawrence Arkangelski. 18th, and rounding out our field of 19th was Luke Page.
Yeah, that was good stuff, Bernie. I don't know if you can do this, but if you rewind to Kevin and Anthony coming around sunset for the last time, Kevin had a lot of attitude in the car, had this thing really sliding, going an awful lot of speed through. Quite spectacular to watch.
So that was Kevin, was it? We'll see if I can get it back there.
Yeah, Kevin Willman and Anthony coming around the last corner.
Okay, folks, we'll see if we can bring that replay up here for you.
And just while you're doing that, I'm hearing Mick Gray say that he was massively airborne. So I think Mick got tangled up in that turn 1 incident right back at the start, Benny.
Yeah, and we'll jump straight to that after we run back. Hopefully we will. Yes, here we go. Okay, so I've got this, folks, and we'll watch the last corner here as Kevin Willman is now making a move on Anthony Manzarella here.
Now you check Kevin's the attitude of Kevin's car as he apexes the final time out of that turn. He's really moving sideways as much as he is forward, I think.
That's unbelievable car control there. You could see him four-wheel drift as he came out of that corner, but look how close they were over that line.
Yeah, it's a spectacular finish and really nice close driving from those two. They gave each other plenty of room, and I imagine they had quite a bit of fun.
That's right, and we're just going to have a look at the start here, folks, to see exactly what happened with Mick Gray at the start of this race. So we just jumped back to the start, and we'll follow this through and see if we can catch exactly what occurred into that first corner.
So it looks like Kevin Henderson tangled with car 13. Who's car 13? With Luke. So they set it off, and then Mick ran into the back. Mick had nowhere to go. So I think Kevin just maybe clipped the front wheel of Luke's car.
Yeah, and he went right up in the air on two wheels as it was absolute carnage back here. Unbelievable. Two cars in the air. The number 5, I'm just trying to see who that was, Igor Arcangeli, flipping as well. So, yeah, very unfortunate there. It took about 4 cars out in that incident.
Yeah, I tell you what, Darryl Ridley was very lucky to get away with that. He was right in amongst it and managed to just get around the outside of it. And you know, we saw him; he was right there with that second battle pack. So very lucky from Darryl.
Yeah, that's right. As we're now going to have another look at this from Igor's point of view, folks.
The carnage just kept on keeping on up the back.
It certainly did, and Igor got tangled right up there with the number 16 car of, who was that? Glenn Hancock's was involved in that. The number 13, Mick Gray was involved in that, as well as Luke Page. So, yeah, it took 4 drivers out in that first turn, Richard.
Yeah, that was ugly. And who's in 18? Was it? Craig Deshan, is it?
Yeah, Craig Deshan was turned around as well, and as we can see now, Mick going off the track with a smashed up nose, so that was quite costly for a number of those drivers today.
It was. I'm not quite sure why the tail of the field ended up getting caught up in it as well. I would have thought that they had enough time to react, but Craig seemed to have just driven straight into the back of it.
Yeah, it looked like it was a bit of a concertina effect there. The car up further spun. Mick Gray went straight over the top of him, and then Igor and Luke tangled wheels, which sent them rolling. But I'm not sure what happened to Craig there. Anyway, folks, I hope you've enjoyed tonight's race. What were your thoughts on that race, Richard?
Oh, look, it was good driving from the guys out the front. They really did get on it and had a ding-dong battle. I think it's a bit of a shame that the next two got separated from them so early in the race, but it was quite nice how that developed. But that second battle pack was quite good, and then we had the action with the three pairs of guys going for it, and at the end of it, the first two pairs did really well, and half a length between Marcelo and Colin, and what did you say, a thousandth of a second or a hundredth of a second or so between Kevin and Anthony. There's some pretty spectacular stuff going on around the last corner onto the front straight at the end. So, that was good stuff, Benny.
It definitely was. There was a thousandth of a second separating Marcelo and Colin as well. So the top four there were having a fantastic battle, and it was great to cover that. So, folks, I really hope you've enjoyed tonight's broadcast of the Monday night Skip Barber Strength of Field race. If you like your open wheeler racing, definitely tune back in on Thursday night. We'll be covering the Star Mazda Australian Championship, and then next Sunday we'll be back for 2 sprint rounds of the SEK Queensland GT3 series. So anyway, Richard, any final thoughts before we wrap this up tonight?
Yes, look, I think that a lot of the boys would be quite happy to see the back of Sebring. It's a bumpy, sort of ragged track, and this next week they're going over to the Virginia International Raceway, the North Circuit, which is like country sports driving by comparison. Grassy fields, trees, fairly narrow strip of tarmac, and you get off that, you're just going to go sliding forever in the grass. So a lot of the guys, I think, would be really looking forward to that. It's not a circuit that we race a lot. Sebring's been a lot of fun, but Sebring is a handful in all sorts of ways. This is good, honest driving at Virginia, and I think the guys would be really looking forward to that.
Yeah, definitely, and you can catch that race, folks, next Monday night at 9:15 for the Skip Barber Strength of Field. So anyway, thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight for the broadcast. If you like what we're doing, press the like button and tell your friends. If you think we can improve things, leave us a courteous comment, and I read all of those comments and take your feedback to try to make this the best we can. So anyway, on behalf of Richard Craig, I'm Bernie Weemers, and you've been watching RRTV.